G'day, welcome to Mt.Coramba Apiculture. We're just making up a heap of frames at the moment to put in our hives, and just wanted to take you through the process of how we do it and why we do it the way we do. These frames are full depth. They're made by Wellbees in Coffs Harbour. So Wellbees is a business that employs people with disabilities. All these frames are made of Australian hoop pine. They can make any type of frame you like, any size, shape or custom order, and no order too big or too small. So I find they're great quality, and I like buying them because I'm supporting a local business and a business that employs people with disabilities. So I think it's a great business to support. Well, the top bars are all standard groove top bar. I always get a groove bottom bar as well, so I can either use wax foundation or plastic foundation, and all the side bars are drilled as well. So I can go either way, whether I want to wire them and wax them or use them with plastic foundation. So first thing I do, a bit of glue here. That's just Durabond, that really good heavy Durabond stuff. Sticks pretty well. Get my side bars on. A little bit more glue. Top bar in. Use a air nailer. It's got 25mm brads, so it'll go bang. So one in the bottom, two in the top. Always nail them through the side as well. So through there, and through there. So that gives a pretty strong frame, and you can't leave the top or bottom bars off with that nailed through there. So that's your standard frame made. So you can go either way. There's lots of different ways to use these frames. So if you're a fan of natural foundation, you can just drop these in your brood box between two brood frames, and the bees will draw a nice neat comb in there, providing your hive's nice and level from side to side. So that's probably the simplest way of doing things. You can wire them up and use them the same way without foundation, and we'll wire a frame shortly and how that's done. Show you how that's done. And you can then go and put some wax in as well, and we'll go through that process as well. Also the option of plastic foundation, which I'll show you how to put in shortly. If you've got a flow hive frames, don't put those silly wooden guides in. You don't really need them, and it just limits your choice of whether you want to use them for plastic foundation or wax foundation, because that you no longer have that groove in the top bar, and I think that'd be hard to get out once you've glued them in. So that's your frame made. We'll just go on to show you how we use the plastic foundation. So this is the plastic foundation I use. It's made by Max Kane. It's the only stuff I recommend. It's really good quality, hard and dense. Pretty simple. All you need to do is whack them in there, pop them in the bottom groove, and your foundation's in there. So there needs to be a little bit of movement there, just for expansion and contraction, and that can go straight in your beehive. Some people wax them, and if you've got time to do that, I'd recommend it. I find that they draw really readily in the honey supers, particularly on a good flow. Sometimes they'll draw them off little ribs in the middle, but you can just fix that up when you extract, and they'll eventually draw them properly. I find that they don't really take to them in the brood boxes, so I wouldn't recommend that you put plastic foundation in your brood boxes, because they're a little reluctant to draw it. So that's plastic foundation, nice and quick and easy. So what we'll do now is just go on and wire up a frame. I'll show you how we do that with the jig, and how we embed wax foundation as well. So we're back with our wiring jig. This is an old Guilfors one, which I've had for about 15 years. I've modified it a little bit just to suit myself, but they're a pretty basic setup, and they're easy to make as well at home on a bench, or if you're a bit handy, you can do them. First thing I do with my frame is put some staples just between the holes on the end bars so that the wire doesn't cut into the wood. You don't have to do it, but it just makes a better job on the frame. So 4 in one side and 2 in the other. So you see the wire can go through there, over those, back through here and back around. So the wire's always passing over those staples rather than cutting into the timber. The frame goes into the jig. Let's get my multi-grips here and clamp this frame up. So that holds it nice and still and compresses that end bar in just to give you a bit of tension on the wire. I'll thread that wire through. It's a pretty slow process. A lot of the bigger guys get this sort of stuff done for them, and a business like Wellbees can do all this stuff for you as well. So they don't just supply the frames, they can make them and assemble them for you as well. So if you're busy with your bees, it may be a good idea to get a business like Wellbees to knock your frames up for you. Pretty sure they can ship them Australia wide. It'll save you a lot of time. But I like doing it myself. So that's that wire threaded through. Just get our special tacks. You can buy these from any beekeeping supply stores. So with my little lady's hammer, just put a tack in there. Tack in here, wind that wire around there about 3 or 4 times and hammer it home. Always just wiggle that wire off. Never use clippers or anything to clip them off, because you leave a little tag there and it really hurts if you stick your finger on it. So that's smooth and gone. So we'll just start winding that wire up. Just hand tension it, take it off each loop. Hand tension it once again. Get it till it's tight, reasonably tight. You don't want to break that wire. 3 or 4 winds around that last tack. Hammer it in. Wiggle it off. So you got your frame made up. Now that's quite good tension, and you could leave it like that. What I like to do is use my crimper. Just go and grab it. My beautiful old John Guilfoyle crimper, stamped JG, made by John Guilfoyle's up at Ipswich. They're the Rolls Royce of crimpers, they really are good. So just with that first wire, a light crimp. It doesn't have to be hard. Once again, you don't want to break that wire. Then the middle ones. So you've got that's crimped up nicely now. Real good tension, and you get a sort of a bigger surface area on that wire to take to the wax. See that where it's going over the tacks there, that just stops it from cutting into the wires. So as I said before, you can just stick that into your brood box as well if you once again want to go with foundationless frames, but with the wire support. The wire support's great because once you start using the frames in the honey extractor, they'll hold up much better to the centrifugal force, tend to not blow out so much, and the bees work around them no trouble. So here, once again, you can just pop that between 2 brood frames in your brood box, provided your hives level side to side. They'll build a nice straight comb straight down the middle. So yeah, you don't need that silly wooden starter strip down there at all. So that's the frame wired up. So the next step is to put some wax foundation in, and we'll go ahead and do that now. So back to putting some wax foundation in. This wax foundation is from Tobin's down at Raglan near Bathurst there, so probably the best stuff you'll get in Australia. I'm sure there's equivalents, but as long as you're getting good Australian wax, that's the main thing. Yeah, beautifully made, and just a quality product. So got a little board here that just sits inside the dimensions of the full depth frame, and we've got a wax embedder here as well. So goes from 240 volt down to 24 volt. That's just a garden light transformer from the hardware store, and they just screw in there, and you've got the probes here that go on the wires. You can achieve the same with a 12 volt battery, just touching the end of the wires, but this just makes a better job. So wax sheet into that groove at the top, and make sure it fits right in. So turn him over, make sure it's sitting nicely in there, and your wax sheet's in the top groove. Just probes on the wire and a couple of touches. You see that wire heat up and go into the wax. Touch, touch, touch. If it happens to cut right through, just rub your finger over and it'll melt in. That's gone in. That's in there as well. So that's that job done. So you've got a beautiful sheet of wax foundation ready to go into your hives. So that can go into your honey supers, and it's great to throw into your brood boxes at the moment, doing my spring management, and it's just really works nicely to get some lovely fresh frames and fresh wax into your brood boxes. It just invigorates that brood box, puts lovely fresh disease-free combs in there, and gives that queen something to do at a time when they're thinking about swarming. So yeah, so that's your wax foundation. So just another thing I like to do is write my brand on the tops of my frames. So L260. I write it everywhere I can. Another good place to write it is before you make the frame up, inside the sidebars. That way it could be removed here, but once it's in there with all that wax covering it, you cannot remove that brand. So you also write it on the side. Won't stop your hives getting stolen, but it may help in retrieval. So always a good idea to do that. So that's frame making from start to the finish, and the different options you can use in your hive. Don't forget, we're taking bookings for beekeeping workshops, one-day workshops or half-day workshops. Sort of 1 to 2 people is our preference, just so you get a real good look in our bees and get value for money for the day. So just drop us a line at our website, Glen, N at Orara Valley Honey, oraravalleyhoney.com.au, or give me a call on 0459 066 297. So hope you enjoyed that video, and see you in the next one.